Check this out. I've done several videos about money mistakes that I've made in the past. And of course, I've made, a lot of money mistakes, but I haven't been a complete failure with money. So there are some things that I have done right. And in this video, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about some of the things that I feel like I did right in my lifetime. So I'm giving myself a little pat on the back, how I've dealt with money. So the first good thing that I felt like I did with money was I invested in my employer 401k with no match. So I was in my mid-20s and I was only making $25,000 a year. And I really didn't even understand 401ks all that well, at that time. But I knew that, man, I probably should be saving something. And, this company was a relatively new company and they offered this 401k and they did not offer any match. And it only had a few funds in this plan. So it was probably some high fee plans anyway. But I felt like I needed to be saving something. So I enrolled and started contributing a small amount to my 401k. Now, what that did for me was it branded it in my mind that I should be saving money for retirement in some fashion. So even though I wasn't getting that match, I was saving that money. And as I went on to other employers, I made sure that I enrolled in the 401k. And then at that time, I'm getting a match. So that was just gravy for me. So it was one of the best decisions that I made. And I'm going to continue to invest in some form of fashion, all because of that early experience in my life. The next thing I did was I saved my raises. Whereas a lot of people, when they get a raise, they think that's more money for them to spend, on the things that they want. Well, once I got to a position where I was comfortable with how I was living and this raise, I didn't have to spend all of it for living expenses. I might take a very small portion of it, just to spend, but I would divert the other percentage of it to a savings account. And that became the original premise, I guess, for my emergency fund and how I would save for emergencies, because I would now have this little pot of money sitting over there in case something popped up that my regular budget couldn't handle. And then as I went on in life and I started making money to the point to where I didn't need to raise at all. And I would take that money and either divert it to, a savings account to pay for something else or to invest in something else. Or I started just diverting the entire raise to my 401k. So even if I was at the max of getting the match from my employer, I didn't need the raise to live on. So I would just have it go straight to my 401k plan. That way I didn't see the money. I wouldn't have the opportunity to spend the money, and I was saving money for my future. So I want to pause in this video for this quick public service announcement. If you are getting something of value from this video, please like and share with your friends and your family. Also, subscribe to my channel where I will be dropping a new video every week on life lessons and money and so forth. So I would greatly appreciate it. Now back to the video. Third good thing that I did with money was I bought disability insurance. That's right. A lot of people do not understand how important it is to have disability insurance because things can happen. And that's what happened to me. So my employer offered short-term disability, and it paid you for 10 weeks in case you were disabled and unable to work because of a non-work related injury. And you would have to use your first 40 hours of PTO, and then the short-term disability kicked in and covered you for the next 10 weeks. So I looked at it as, what happens if I'm injured for more than 10 weeks? Then what do I do? So I said, I am going to purchase long-term disability through my employer. And I went by the highest option. It paid me 60% of my salary, and it kicked in after 10 weeks of disability, right? So going about my life and, just paying this premium for long-term disability, nothing happened. And then something does happen. I get injured and I am off work for 6 months. And because I had this short-term disability and long-term disability, we didn't miss a check. So initially with my short-term disability, I'm getting 75% of my salary. And then when it went to long-term disability, I was getting 60% of my salary. And because my wife worked and was bringing in money as well, combined with, with the disability income, we didn't miss a beat. So I was allowed to recover over those 6 months without the stress of having to pay bills or whether or not, the mortgage is going to get paid. So it is always better for your recovery if you're not stressing about money and other things like that. So I think I did a good thing again. So this next one is going to be a little bit controversial for some. And it is, I took out student loans for education. So my family didn't have money to pay for me to go to college. And I didn't want to go to the military like my brothers did and get, the GI Bill or whatever else they use to pay for college. And I'm not knocking them for that, right? I mean, that was smart of them, but I just didn't want to do that. So I took out student loans to get an education. And I went on to get my undergrad degree as well as my MBA, and essentially funded, the majority of my education with student loans. Now, within 4 months after graduating with my MBA, I got a job making $20,000 a year more than what I was currently making. My student loans in total from undergrad through graduate school was like $40,000. So I'm already making $20,000 more immediately, after graduating with my MBA. So I felt like that was a good deal. And then within 4 to 5 years, I increased my income by another like $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So to me, that investment in student loans to pay for my education was a very good use of money because I was making enough income to pay back those student loans. So my next pat on the back is for buying real estate. Back in 2008 when the market crashed, when everybody was running away from real estate like it was the plague, I was walking into it. Now, it wasn't like some strategic play where I was like, oh man, the market is crashing. Time for me to get into real estate. No, I just happened to get interested in real estate and it worked out for me. And then I caught on to the fact that, man, so these prices are not normal and these prices are going to go back up in the future. That's when I said, okay, let me double down and buy more real estate, because in the future, this stuff is going to go back up and I'm going to be sitting on a ton of equity. And that's what I did. So I believe that I made an excellent decision in investing in real estate, and it's paid off for me. So the next one is I avoided expensive cars. Man, when I go around town, man, I see people in some expensive cars. I'm talking, $80,000, $90,000 cars that, once upon a time, these cars used to be $50,000, but today they're like $90,000. I have never spent more than $20,000 for a car. And I have never owned a new car. The newest car that I've ever owned is probably 2 to 3 years old. And I've just continued that pattern, throughout my life of buying cars, which I don't even buy a lot of cars. My car that I bought my senior year of college, I drove that little truck for 17 years. Not getting into the expensive cars has saved me a lot of money over the years. And it's not something that I'm big on. So I'm going to keep buying used cars probably and just keep doing what I'm doing. So there you have it. I am patting myself on the back for the good decisions that I've made with money. Now, I've made some mistakes for sure. And I'm probably going to continue to make mistakes, but I will learn from those mistakes. I'm going to do better and better and better. And hopefully my kids, I'm teaching them how to be better with money, and hopefully they will teach their kids, and we'll just keep this thing rolling for generations and generations, and that's what we're going to do. So that is all I have for you. If you took something of value from this video, please please share with your friends and your family. And in the meantime, take care and be safe out through the social media streets.